Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast. I'm your host Nirban Day, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Robin, the Butterfree guy. Butterfree is the name of his YouTube channel. What he does there basically is uploading very funny videos, and let me warn you, those are super hilarious. And he's also going to upload one video that's about choices, and it's super hilarious. And I also am there, my voice is there basically. So, but why don't you hear it from the man himself? Robin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel, and also about what choices book we'll be discussing today?
Hey guys, Butterfreeguy here, also known as Robin, and thank you very much for having me on this podcast. I'm looking forward to talking about the Choices app because I'm actually a very big fan of it. On the Butterfreeguy YouTube channel, we do make funny videos relating to all kinds of franchises. I've done stuff about Harry Potter, Pokemon. There are various franchises that I've referred to. Originally, the channel started in a collaboration with a blog. I wanted to make funny jokes and funny videos about things written on the blog by another person. But that person continued writing our blog, and we each went our own way eventually. So now the channel is just filled with funny jokes, funny videos, funny series, all relating to comedy. It's absurd, it's funny, all kinds of characters appear that I invented myself, some that I saw in series and voiced over. It's really all about fun and comedy. So go be sure to check that out. I'm also going to be making a video about the Choices app, which we're talking about today. On my channel. It will pop up later today. It will also be a collaboration with this channel of the Pixelberry Choices podcast. So look forward to that on my channel as well. Once again, the channel name is Butterfreeguy. If you type that in, you will find me. Please go subscribe. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
That sounds super awesome. Like, I have checked out your videos and those are super funny, but I can't wait for the choices fun video. And it's going to be super hilarious, I know, but I can't wait. Okay, so coming back to the point here, what we're going to talk about is that we're going to talk about, I know, Amy, America's Most Eligible, your favorite book. But I would have to ask you about your experience with choices. Like, tell us about your craze for choices, or for instance, how long have you been playing choices, or how would you find it? Like, your experience. But because, I really like to listen to this because I remember it was late 2019, around October. I found out choices. I first played High School Story, and like, I was searching for this kind of story apps. I was really into it, and then the rest is history. Like, I'm so much into choices. Like, I am, not knee down. I'm totally drowning in choices now. I'm a big fan. So, what's the your part of story? What's the behind the scenes story for you? Like, I really wanna listen to it, and I know my viewers also would like to. So, why don't you tell us?
All right, let's talk about the Choices app, what we're here for, of course. So, how did I get into Choices? That's a good question. I don't know exactly. I think it was in the year 2018. I think it was because I saw an advert while I was playing another online game, an ad for the Choices app. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to check this out. I've been looking for interactive stories for a while, actually. I played some of the episode app, but those stories didn't really appeal to me. And when I opened Choices, the story that interested me the most was America's Most Eligible. For a long time, I've only focused on that story. I haven't played any other stories by then. I just only played the app for America's Most Eligible. Because I liked that story. I wasn't sure if I liked the other stories, but I loved the way it was written. I really felt like just like my character, was part of a reality TV show, and I wanted to know what would happen and who would win the reality TV show. So that's how I got into choices. Um, like I said, I think it's 2018, but I'm not too sure about it. And it's mostly because I wanted to play America's Most Eligible. Um, I didn't click any other stories for a long time. Now I've been playing various stories. I've discovered the wonders of the other stories as well. And I love all kinds of stories because it really feels like you're in the setting that they try to tell. And that's really cool.
Relatable. Relatable, just one word, as I said, like, wow. So that's quite a nice journey. You started with choices, you started with Amy, I started with HSS, but yeah, my second book was Amy. But speaking of, so I know we're going to talk about Amy here. That's your favorite book, you know but what would you like to say, like, if I ask you what's your, like, some other favorite books, like, maybe you can tell me, like, some other favorite books besides Amy. What would you like to say? What are those?
Why don't we, instead of just talking about my favorite choices book, talk about my top three favorites at this point? So, obviously, my number one favorite is still America's Most Eligible. I started with that. I loved it. I read the hell out of it. I've read all three of the books. I loved all of them. More about that later because this podcast is going to be all about this story. But I just want to tell you the two other stories that I currently am interested in and that really appeal to me. I love it. The second one is definitely Open Heart, the whole Open Heart series, the hospital series. It really feels like it's some kind of hospital drama you could watch on TV. I really love the characters. Yeah, with the way they talk to each other and the setting you are, it really feels like your character's working in a hospital. And at the time I discovered the Open Heart series, I was working as a employee of social services in a hospital, so it was actually funny that I started playing Open Heart then, because then I could compare things with how they really were, and I just love how accurate some things were written. And obviously, I have read the two Open Heart books that there are and the first chapter of the third Open Heart book, and I still love all of them. And then my third book is a book that I'm currently my third book is a book that I'm currently reading, the Bloodbound series. It's really cool. I originally didn't think I was going to be so interested in it because it was a story where you could only play as a woman, and although I don't mind that because some of these stories are really cool, I didn't know if the whole vampire theme would appeal to me. But currently I'm at book 3, and yeah, I'm interested. The story is set like you're really in a world filled with vampires, and it's so cool. Also, let me just throw out a funny thing that I love about the Choices books, and that I'm always looking for in each of the books, is the references to the other stories. Like, there's this story with every heartbeat, I think, which is presumably I haven't read the whole story, but it's presumably going to be a really sad story. But the fun fact is that they mention and, well, even show the Edenbrook Hospital from Open Heart. So I really love that. And apparently some characters from other from other books appear throughout other books. And I love how the whole universe is connected, and I love searching the books for these little hints showing a connection. So yeah, that's something I really like about Choices.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Like, Open Heart, Vampire's Diary, I haven't read it completely yet. So, but yeah, all quality books. Quality books. For me, I would like to say HSS, Amy, and maybe some other books like Nightbound. But yeah, super awesome books. I mean, it's hard to choose sometimes. So, like now, speaking of America's Most Eligible, that's your favorite book that we're going to talk today. So now let's start with this. So what would you say, like, Amy is your favorite, like your love for Amy, like why does this book stand out to you than the other books? Like there's so many books, as I said, like it's really hard to distinguish. So why Amy, why?
This is the book that I see as the OG, the original book of choices, because it's the one that I started with, the one that I loved the most, the one that I got the most into, the one that introduced me to the world of choices. So I can't say it differently, but I still love this book. It's very precious to my heart, and it's one of my favorite books of all time on the Choices app.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so now America's Most Eligible, I know, like I personally liked Jen. So what would you like to say about like the allies? Like which ally is your favorite, or what allies you liked, or characters in general?
Let's actually talk about the love interests of the three book series that I mentioned. First, America's Most Eligible. I love most of the characters there, but I definitely love Jen, the producer. Um, she was written like she wanted to help your character, but always was turned down by Piper. And it felt like she was trying to get me on the show and just help the character in general, provide them with advice, even though she wasn't always allowed to give advice. And as soon as I actually discovered that she was a love interest in the book, I really tried to go for her, actually, instead of the contestants. Another of the contestants that I really like is Bianca, and currently I'm replaying the books where I'm in the first book actually trying to get into a relationship with Tegan for as far as that's possible. I just love the fact that she's different from the others because she's always all about meditating and yoga, and I just want to see, like, is it possible to fully date her by the end of the first book? That's something I'm also trying to see. Then in the Open Heart series, since I'm a guy myself and I'm straight, I'm mostly only into girls. So Jackie definitely appeals to me in the Open Heart series. Also, I just love her personality. She's kind of a brat at some points, and but in the later stories, like definitely in book 2, you learn why she's reacting in certain ways and the troubles that she actually has. And it feels natural to me. I like it. She's just fun to be around. So that's a character that I'm definitely loving. The Bloodbound series has two kind of characters that I really like. I mean, definitely Lily is a fun character. She's been your roommate like the entire time, even before the adventure began. So yeah, she's definitely fun, but in this playthrough of the books, I'm pursuing Camilla. She is one of the more experienced vampires, and I really, really like the fact that she doesn't smile very often, and the fact that she's kind of stoic. I think that's how they say it. So yeah, I just really love seeing her reactions when my character suddenly hugs her or kisses her. It always makes me laugh. So those are the characters that I'm pursuing in these books. Let's talk about one more love interest in a book that I actually really loved. Endless Summer. Endless Summer, although it was very complicated because it was a complicated series full with time travel shenanigans and crazy island stuff, but in the beginning there I tried to actually pursue Quinn, I think. But eventually, somehow, my interest for Stella grew bigger. So, at the end of the book, I was trying to get her to love me, but my relationship wasn't high enough to get into a hand-fasting ceremony with them throughout the book. So, at the end, my character just didn't marry anyone. Yeah, that's silly, but that's how it is. Just wanted to share that fact as well.
Those are some really nice choices, I would say. And for me, sometimes when I have too many, love interests to choose from, I sometimes like I have this confusion who to choose. For Endless Summer, I would say I think it was between Estela and Queen for me, and it was really hard. Same goes for High School Story though. So like America's Most Eligible, it's like the gameplay, one thing, like it was really interesting, correct? Like all this new competition, you get to participate now, you get to make your choices, like yeah, diamond scenes, they did have some effect, but but your choices, like these games, like you're really competing against each other, like it was super fun. So what would you like to, like how did you feel about the gameplay of Amy?
All right, let's talk a little bit more about the gameplay of America's Most Eligible, because we're here to talk about that book, actually. America's Most Eligible, what do I love about the gameplay? A lot. Honestly, there's a lot. I've always wanted to be on a TV show myself, so the fact that the characters interact with one another during the TV show, but also behind the scenes, like sometimes there are conversations when the cameras aren't rolling, and that's also a lot of fun. You can just try to make friends off camera, and I also love the little challenges. The little challenges the game puts up for you, like all the things you have to do to prove that you're the most eligible. I also love the fact that at some points you get to decide which characters to eliminate yourself, while at other points it's just a fixed part of the storyline where they're like, okay, this character is gonna be eliminated. And at first I didn't know that. I was like, I just thought that every character could win, so I tried to do my best to vote out the competition and to just try to win myself. What I also liked is that there's a point in book one where your character just gets eliminated himself or herself, depending on whether you play as a man or a woman. And I really like that because good TV shows or good games are games where you don't always win and where you don't always get the chance to be successful. So you get kicked out, but the story doesn't end there. The story doesn't end there because with a twist, you get to compete again in the jury house to see who gets back into the show. Obviously, that's your character, but it's just fun that you get to visit the jury house for a bit. That's something I really love. I also love the gameplay that was offered in book 3, where there are two teams competing against each other, not just a bunch of characters, but two various teams, to see in order who gets the wedding party of their dreams. To be honest, I love that gameplay as well. I haven't replayed that book yet, so details are still kind of vague because it's been a long time since I've played those books. But I remember the main story. I also love that throughout the books, actually, you start to appreciate Jen more and more, and somehow you start to dislike Carson just more and more. By the end of the last book, you just hate Carson. While in the beginning of the first book, he's actually a funny guy, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's just trying to cheer up the contestants and make up funny things, funny challenges. But by the end of book 3, you're like, yeah, he's ruining the show. Carson, get it over with. Just tell me what the challenge is, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna see if we're gonna win with your crazy challenge ideas.
Yeah, correct. Carson. Like in book 2, when Carson was just spoiled the show, but by the end of book 3, I think as far as I remember, he was back to being the anchor, the host, and Jen was the showrunner, and everything was nice. So yeah, but Carson, I would say overall, his character to me is a very sweet character at the end. Like yeah, but yeah, a crazy character plus sweet. That's what happens. Like it's a child. Like that's what happens. Like like children are really nice, but when you give children some responsibility, they will they would take it down the toilet. So that was like that. But Kirsten is pretty sweet, and I would have loved to see Kirsten and Ivy ending together though. Speaking of the gameplay, though, I would definitely would have to ask you, what do you think about the introduction of Bianca and Slater? You know, at the almost at the end of book 3 as a love interest, and I felt like if we choose Bianca or Slater, it would be ditching our love interest because throughout the book 3, you are having this marriage season. So I felt like personally like we wouldn't be much different than Vince. It was my personal thoughts, but what did you think about the introduction of Bianca Slater as a potential ally at the right end of book 3? What would you say about that?
Yeah, right. Now that you mention it, I completely forgot about that detail. But indeed, in the last book, Bianca or Slater are love interests that your character can marry at the end, I think. Um, in my part, it was only Bianca because I think I voted out Slater in an earlier part. I don't know. But yes, she did propose to my character, and at that point I said no because I wanted my character to end up with Jen in the end. But in my new playthrough that I'm doing, I'm not saying that I will, but I might go that way, pursue Bianca, because she's one of the other characters that I really like. Um, so yeah, I really think it's interesting. I I really kind of hope that they would have done that with all the characters that you were competing with on the show, because each of them would make a great love interest for your character. But I do understand that some of these characters would not be interested to marry your character. But it's a shame because I would have loved all of them to eventually end up with your character if you decide to do that. It would give more freedom, but of course it would be more difficult to let the story continue that way. So I understand why the writers of the book, Pixelberry Studios, why they haven't done that. I understand that. But it would have been cool. Just saying.
Yes, I agree with you totally. With too many love interests, it could have affected the main storyline. So, but still, like with the love interests we had and with the storyline, everything, Amy is worth everything. It's the best book to me, also. One of the best books, definitely for sure. And thank God it got the sequels that it got. Thank God. And what is your expectation from Choices? I mean, in the coming days, what kind of books, what kind of genres you want to read? Also, a lot of book getting cancelled. So, what new books you are expecting? What new genres? So, say something about that.
This is actually a very, very interesting question. Um, I'm looking forward to the continuation of the Open Heart book, of which I've read the first chapter of book 3. So I'm definitely interested to see how that goes. And for the other books, I know which ones that they have said were coming. I'm probably gonna be interested in them. I'm not sure if I will enjoy the zombie book, but I'll check out the first chapter definitely. Um, I do like the fact that I have heard somewhere that the Blades of Shadow and Light story will continue eventually in 1 year or two from here. So I'm looking forward to that because that was a fun story as well. And as for the other stories that I would love, I think there should be a story. If I were working for Pixelberry Studios, I would make a story where different characters from other books actually return in one big crossover book. Like suddenly in one chapter your character gets to go to La Huerta and just meet the characters who are trapped there in the Book of Endless Summer, and in another part you're suddenly at a party in with the Edenbrook staff, or yeah, there's a point where you're walking at night through the streets and you meet a few vampires from the Bloodbound book. Like, I can totally see a book with maybe not the characters as love interests, but just different characters made for that story who are love interests, but small cameos throughout the entire book from various various characters that we already know from previous books, so that everyone can say like, hey, look, it's that guy, of hey, look, it's Adrian Rains from Bloodbound, or hey, look, it's there's a TV show going on and they're mentioning it's America's Most Eligible, and we get a glimpse of what's going on set in a special diamond scene, for example. I would like that. Or your characters end up in a plane and land and crash on La Huerta, and they have to get out, but the other characters from the story, they don't come out, and they don't go with you, and they just stay there because they have a duty to fulfill there. But throughout the entire story, you just meet various characters of the previous books of Choices. I would really like that. Or yeah, that's just something that I would really love. One big crossover book with a bunch of characters from previous stories, not necessarily as love interests, but just as cameo appearances. I would love that, honestly, a lot. Or, for example, another example would be that your character could somehow fall asleep and then in his dream get transported to the magical school of Pendergast, and you have one chapter where you're trying to figure out of how to get out of Pendergast, and you just see some of the characters from the Elementalists books. For example, these are just examples, but I would really love one big crossover book from Pixelberry Studios. I would definitely read that, and it would be fun.
Thank you for being here today discussing Amy with me. Why don't you again tell our viewers about your channel and about yourself?
Once again, thank you very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I am glad that I could show my love for Choices. And instead of just telling you to join my channel and to go watch the videos there, why don't I send you a message from some of the characters from my from my YouTube channel, because they also have something to say.
Bro,
What's the matter?
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt this whole podcast, but
no problem.
You wanted a message from all of your characters?
Yeah.
They're right outside, all trying to get in at the same time.
Oh my god. Okay. Let them in, bro. Let them in.
You sure?
Yeah. Let them in. Just.
Here they come!
Ah!
Hello, this is Robinium, the evil emperor.
And the man in purple.
Come check out the channel of Butterfreeguy, or else you won't survive.
It's quite possible. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm Pinky.
And I'm Oliver. We're from Timo Kingo.
And I'm Green Monster. I'm also from Timo Kingo.
If you like series about private investigators, go check out our channel. Yeah, it's Butterfreeguy. I think it will be mentioned in this podcast somehow. Pinky, do you have something to add?
Well, if you have any stupid questions, you can call us on the stupid questions line from Timo Kingo.
Okay, and now we need to return because Master Glowworm is waiting for us. Goodbye.
And I'm Jack the Duck. I'm on the channel somewhere, but I don't really care. Bye.
And I am Cosmologist Cosmo. So if you're all into the cosmos and the stars, go check it out. The channel is fun, and it's all about...
And yeah, out of the way, Cosmo guy. I'm Tim the Wizard, and I basically hang around on a channel, appear in several videos, and my biggest obsession is to play The Sims. Maybe we'll do something about that, maybe not.
Get out. Hello, this is Ronnie from Comedy News at 7.
And Tony from Other News.
Yeah, and we are promoting the channel because you've gotta watch it if you wanna laugh.
Yeah, basically, and this is Tim again, that there are just a whole bunch of characters on the series.
Hey, give me a moment. I haven't said anything yet.
Oh, great.
Hello, this is Clement. The future is now, thanks to science.
Clement, my dear boy, we gotta go. Hello, I'm the doctor. One of them.
Okay, goodbye. Okay, go check out the Butterfreeguy YouTube channel.
Well, that seemed to be all of them.
Yeah, we really apologize for letting them all into this podcast, but...
Yeah, and I hope this you enjoyed this this podcast. See you on the
Butterfreeguy channel. Oh, and if you like some videos about Harry Potter or Doctor Who, some fun, not serious videos, I have a few on my own channel, TimRob12.
Yeah. But on the Butterfreeguy YouTube channel, I just want to share this. On the Butterfreeguy YouTube channel, we're about to make a video also relating to choices, where we're just going to go over some funny things that happen in the Choices app, and where we play some funny sketches.
And
about
how
it.
ridiculous some of the things would be in real life.
Yeah. And the guy from this podcast is actually going to be joining as well in some way or another. But he will get the script, so no problem.
So check it out.
We hope to see you there. Butterfreeguy signing off.
And I'll go back to the TimRob12 channel. Bye.
Well, that sounds super awesome and super fun. Tell you what, guys, I have watched his videos and it's super fun. And the Choices video that he's currently working on, in that video I'm also there too, and it is funnier than anything. So make sure to check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, and also to keep an eye out for that video on his channel when it comes out. It's gonna be super fun, and it's a funny video about choices. You guys can watch it. And meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we had a conversation about Amy, choices in general, and I hope while listening to this you were also able to relate yourself. For instance, how you started liking choices, or how you liked Amy, or any particular book, or any ally. So let me know, guys, how you feel about this whole conversation and whole topic in the comment section below. And also don't forget, again I'm telling you, subscribe to his channel, keep an eye out in his channel for that video, the fun video about choices. And also check out my channel, subscribe to my channel for more, and also discuss in the comment section. I am more than happy to discuss with you in the comment section. Thank you, guys. Stay safe, stay blessed, and enjoy reading choices. Have fun, guys. Bye. See you in another video somewhere. Bye.